Hi, welcome to TechCrunch, a place where we learn and earn technical skills in the most efficient way. Let's make coding fun. Swing Graphical User Interface API, JTextField. So today we are going to present you a live demonstration and implementation of JTextField to present window-based application. Now before we get into the implementation, let's first see what is actually a JTextField. JTextField is an object of a class which is a text component that allows the editing of a single line text. If you take a look in the class hierarchy in Swing Graphical User Interface API, it starts from the object class, which is extended to component and then container and then goes to the J component. Now from J component class, it goes categorized based on the text type of component, where there are three types of other subclasses we have called JTextField, JTextArea and JEditorPane. Those are different types of other text-based graphical user interface component available in Swing, where today we are going to cover about JTextField. It's a part of the text component that allows you to edit in a single line of text. For example, you have a form, a registration form or a login form. For a login form, you have user ID and the password. Now we need user to enter some user ID, whatever he has, or email address and the password. That particular space was occupied in a window that is called a text field. For example, if you see here, this is what the text field in the white rectangle space that's mentioned, enter your queries. Now user enter their queries or user ID or password and then it will submit to the button. Now that text is passed internally and processed in a business logic or any kind of performance is going to happen within the compiler. But from here, to get the value from the user, that space was named as a text field. Now JTextField is a class that inherits from the text component class and uses the interface swing constants. Now let's take a look at the example. If you see the text field, it's a frame. The window is basically nothing but the J frame. We create an object of frame and we add the components. Now we have seen about the button and a text space, text area, but here and a dialog boxes so far. Now for text field, we need to occupy that space with some location like 50, 100, 230. This is not nothing but the coordinates where it is going to located, that text box. Now these text box has already can have some by default messages like write your message, write your text, enter your password, user ID, something like that you can add already. It's a by default. On over of it, you can rewrite it. Now once the frame is created, these text boxes, text field class objects can be added in a frame with the help of add method. Now add method has an argument that can be taken as an object of the component. So we can define some location and that's how this particular text field and the components can be added in your window. Now when it comes to the syntaxes, the declaration of JTextField goes like this: public class JTextField extends JText component. That's what the class which was inherited from implements swing constant interfaces. Now when we create an object of JTextField, it is created like this: JTextField, like a regular class object we create, JT equals to new JTextField. Now that's with the help of this JT, you can include it with the help of in a call as an argument in a add method of the frame class object. Now let's take a look at the constructor and other action listener if you want to add in your text field. Now for example, we have add action listener method that add the specified action listener to receive action events from this text field. Suppose you add some message in this and pass it to the another message in a chat application. That places these type of action listener method can be added. Action get action that returns the currently set action for this action, even source or null if no action is set. Set font, that method is going to use to set the current font. If you want to have a specific type of style for your text, that you can set in your text field with the help of this method. Remove action listener, used to remove the specified action listener so that it no longer receives action events from this text field. Sometimes you have a disabled password or any admin login or some kind of terms and condition type of tag. That particular action listener can be removed as per the ID or sometimes logged in pages that's placed. That particular thing can be included in this with the help of remove action listener. Now, all these examples are basically like an online application, but you can have it in your offline desktop application also. Since it's going to have a complicated way in the later when we added the database. So that places you can include it. Now, when it comes to the constructor, there are constructor style and different syntaxes you can provide when you pass an argument that can be used in a different way. So JTextField is just creating a new instance of TextField. JTextField string text will actually initialize that specified text and create that instance with that default specified text. Now, another constructor where we are passing the argument of text, intent, and columns. That means that particular specific column can be initialized with that specified by default text message. And JTextField in columns, that is nothing but creating a new text field with a specified number of columns. So these constructor can be used when it comes to the database connectivity and interface and more advanced version of your JTextField form. So when we actually work Swing graphical user interface with JDBC, that place it will be very useful. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. So today we are going to present you in a calculator form. That's my example. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write code, a class which has a which is taking a 2 inputs and process it for the addition and subtraction. So what is happening, I'm user writing 2 numbers that is in an input form in a text field, and I'm going to add action listener and override those implement method, overriding and implementing that method for different forms like addition and subtraction. And so there will be a J button in a button form and answer will be displayed in a label form. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. So this is my Eclipse IDE, and let's take a look at the example or demonstration of JTextField. So I'm going to continue with my previous Java project of Swing demo. You can create your own project or continue with that. And my class name will be JTextField demo _tr. I need a main method, of course, and finish. So this will create my class, and here next step what I'm going to do is I have to include my Java package, Swing Java X package. So after importing all the package, the first thing what we have to do is we have to create then we need to think what is the design of your frame or a window. 2 text fields and 2 buttons with 1 label. So let's create our text field first. I'll name it JT1, JT2 and JT3 for the label, which is basically disabled text, a kind of a disabled text, where we are going to display the answer of the addition and subtraction. J button, it's creating an error because make sure you have your camel cases case sensitives. So next, text field constructor. So what is going to happen here? The text field, next we need to create the constructor. Inside the constructor, we are going to create a frame and include all the components we need to have inside our frame with action listener implementation. Now there are so many ways you can do it. This is one of the way where we are going to include the constructor. This is more efficient because we can have more extended versions of your frame that you can include it in your package or in your project. So first we create a frame, a kind of a window. Inside the window we need to create the text field. So we have JT1, we have created an object of JTextField. Now we need to initialize. We have declared it, now we need to initialize. So just make sure we have JT2, JT1 with, we need to include and provide a specific location, you see, coordinates where it is supposed to be. So for now I'm just giving some values and we'll see where it is located. So this is in a pixels form, so all you need to give some values and based on that you can design it. So it's just an example, so it's not specific to anything. Now next we need to have JT2 text field, new JTextField constructor initialized, and next JT2 your set bounds and your coordinates where it is supposed to be located. 50 pixel for X, 50 pixel, 50 is already included in your last text field, so let's make it 100 just under it. And this will be the same location because height and width is going to be same, so 20. Now next our editable false, that means next we need your third JText field which is disabled, you see. So initialized it with in the same way, constructor initialized, and JT3 dot set bounds, just like it's just same like we had done for the last two. All you need to give the values of coordinates 150 and 150 and 20. Now the only difference is here is just a disable for editing. So set editable is going to be false, that you can use it here. So this will not be editable, it's a read only kind of thing. Now next we need to have the button. So JB1 for addition, we need to first have an initialization and we'll implement its action inside the constructor. And here the location we need to set, so JB1 dot set bounds, and that helps you to design easily your component and your frame will be more organized. 50 and 50, it's in the middle of the frame. And JB2 goes equals new J button initialization and JB2 set bounds method, and here we need to pass the argument. So next we need to include it in a 120, like a little further, and rest values will be the same location, just moving forward from the addition. And once this is done, next we need to include the action listener. So for that, action listener method, and here since we are already inside the current class, so we can use this operator that will make pointing to the compiler to go back to the same class and find out the action listener method. Okay, this is JB2, sorry. J button, add action listener. And this for the another button, that is addition. Since we need to, so basically inside the constructor we are including all the components. So add method and passing the argument JT1. So JF, your Java frame, add JT. So think of the design and based on that we include everything. So first we need to include the text. Second we need to include the text again. And J frame is third. We need to include the our JT3. You can use ID features like this auto filled, that will help you to make it a little faster. Java frame, add. Next what we need to include, our buttons. So the location is already included in the setBound method, so you don't have to make it in a specific form. You can add it in any sequence. This will just simply call that object and put that component in that particular frame. Now next we need to have the set size, the frame size and all, which we have discussed in the previous sessions about the J frame. So I'm just passing some coordinates where the J frame is going to be open. When it open the window, it will be of this size. You can have more bigger size, like I can make it 500. So it will be 500 and 500. And many things you can change it here, like a set visible or set layout, set resize, and many other way you can. True, you can have it true or false. GF dot your set visible, this is also true, or you can make JFrame dot set resize, that is also true. You can resize it. So many things you can do it here. So this is all about the constructor. Now next what we need to do is action performed method implemented. So for that, let's create our public void action performed method. So including the action event handling here, this will showing error because we have not included our class is event, action event. So you see, this will be okay. This is supposed to be for AWT, not the JavaFX, this class. And here we'll fix it later. Now for this, what we have to include is string, the text, the first input, or you can use input 1, which is included in your first text box. So JT1 dot getting the value from that. It can be message, it can be number, it can be anything. So first we are going to consider as in a string that can be parsed later in your message. So JT2 dot get text if it is needed. So for now let's consider as an integer. Now if it is an integer, let's making in parsing it and consider as an S1. So that text field basically include only strings, so we have to parse it into the integer form. So primitive class we can include it, and this is supposed to be input 1. You see, so just like this we need to create for B and input 2. Now once this is done, we need the output value. So if your event handling select get source, select JB1, that means your button first, that includes the plus sign that we have specified here. If you have seen, this is plus sign here, JB2 initialize to minus. So if user select, so I have mentioned as a minus sign. So if in case user choose the JB1, that is equals to addition, that's the logic we're going to use for the calculator. That means C equals to A plus B. Else if E dot get source, that means user select JB2, that means it is supposed to be your subtraction. That means C equals to A minus B. And string back to be output. So we can have it output equals string dot value of C. And your JT3 equals set text your output. So that's all the action listener implementation can be done. And inside the main method, all we need to call your class JTextDemo constructor, and that's it. So this is your implementation for calculator implemented for addition and subtraction using JTextField. Now let's figure it out, these errors. What is it all about? Add action listener. So I missed to implement action listener and import action listener AWT. So let's take a look at the execution. Okay, I missed one thing. What we can do here, looking very empty, we can give some title. TechRanch calculator demo. Enter input 1. Enter first input. Enter second input. Output. Let's take a look at the execution now. So suppose I gave 12 and here I gave 28 and I wanted to have addition and it is 40. And suppose I gave 67 and here I gave 30 and I want subtraction, so 37. So this is the small demonstration and live implementation of JTextField with action listener as an example of calculator implemented in Java Swing Graphical User Interface API. Now homework. So we have seen a small example of calculator where we have included the addition and subtraction. For homework as a practice project, what you can do, add some more operation like multiplication, division, calculating average, prime number, Fibonacci series, displaying some factorial, percentage, and have some more buttons and practice your text field and the button implemented in Swing Graphical User Interface. And try to create first design and then develop the simple calculator. For any kind of assistance or source code needed, please feel free to contact techranch2019@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more upcoming interesting informative sessions. Let's make coding fun. Thank you.